Hey guys, want to see a magic trick? I'm gonna take my thumb off. Watch. Dude, 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 dude. Okay, that's really lame. But anyway, this is the Powerpuff Girls episode Abracadver. In this episode, the mayor is demolishing a old theater where this magician used to perform, who did magic tricks, but one day he was accidentally revealed to be a fraud when he made this little girl's teddy bear disappear at a magic act, and the girl looked, by the way, who looks a lot like a Powerpuff Girl. And the girl was upset, so she pantsed him, and all these rabbits and cards came out of his pants, and everyone realized he's a fake. And then he stumbled and fell into the little spike coffin thing, and died. So anyway, so the mayor's demolishing the theater where he used to perform, and while using the wrecking ball destroyed, I came in like a wrecking ball. He brings the magician back to life because he opens like the coffin. The zombie magician comes out. So the zombie magician Abracadver starts destroying Townsville by just using his powers to make everything magic related stuff like cards or people in the saw boxes. And the Powerpuff Girls go to stop him, but he defeats all of them, hypnotizes except Blossom, who he hypnotizes because he thinks she's a little girl who exposed him as a fraud, so he decides to get revenge by hypnotizing her. He hypnotizes her, then wraps her up in a little, those scarves magicians pull out of their mouth. Sorry, I just remembered Family Guy when Peter swallows the scarves. But anyway, so he wraps her up in those, throws her in the coffin, and then the magician rips himself apart to reveal himself to be Bubbles. And then the day is saved. So aside from that really weird ending that I cannot explain at all, and I think that's intentional, this was a pretty good episode. Again, I'm amazed I never watched the show as a kid just because I might have said this before, but I was just turned off by it because I thought it was a girl show because the show, it was about female protagonists, but I'm starting to find out that this is a show that I honestly think anyone can enjoy regardless of gender. I mean, there's tons of girls who watch Adventure Time and they're like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It is two boys, but I digress. So, there's a lot of good stuff in this episode. For one thing, the magician Abracadabra, I like his design, I like his powers, I like the voice Frank Welker did for it. It was a very unique and distinct voice. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is that character from that show. No, I heard Abracadabra, so kudos to Frank Welker for doing a good job with the voice. And if you don't know, Frank Welker does a bunch of voices. He's most well known for doing Scooby-Doo. And then there's also a bunch of other stuff I really like. For one thing, I really like the opening or the flashback scene, which is black and white. It's a nice homage to like classic silent movies, which I took a film class once in college. I am in college still, but anyway, one of my classes in college was a film class, and I did have to watch like a silent movie or two, and that's pretty much how they play out. I mean, it's black and white. You have like this piano. It's always piano music playing in the background, and it usually has. It kind of ties into what you're watching, but not really. But it looked really good. I like the design of Young Mayor in that it was just really not good. I wish they had gone all the way with it, though, like, because in silent movies, they won't have dialogue. They'll have text explaining, like, saying what the dialogue is or what happens. But instead they have the mayor narrating. Again, it's still pretty good. I mean, it still is everything I love. But makes silent movies unique, like the emphasis on melodrama and facial expressions to compensate for lack of dialogue. But yeah, it works. Sorry, I just remembered something else I want to mention later. I like how this episode really let you breathe. Like, there was a good minute or two of just Abracadabra using his powers on Townsville. Like, it let you take in his powers. Again, I really like how the show's just letting you breathe. and it's pretty creative what he does to the town. I thought some of the stuff he used on the Powerpuff Girls was pretty creative. And in an earlier vlog, I complained about how, oh, the girls are afraid of the... No, actually, it was last episode. It was like, oh, the girls are afraid of the boogeyman, yet they have these powers. And while I'm still kind of mixed on the fact that the girls are afraid of something, despite the fact they have superpowers, I get why they're doing it. It makes the girls relatable. Yes, there are these girls with these awesome superpowers. They can fly, they can punch, all these things that lots of little girls and boys who watch the show can't. But they're still little girls. They still have similar issues and problems that a lot of young little kids can relate to, and one of which is being afraid. And it makes them relatable. The fact that they are vulnerable, the fact that they have things that they aren't afraid of, the fact that they aren't invincible, I guess makes them both relatable and interesting. I mean, like, again, Doug talked about this a bit when he was doing his My Favorite Characters in Mrs. Brisby, but and he also talks about a bit in his video about fear, which you should look up, by the way, just YouTube Nostalgia Critic, Why We Experience Fear or something, and My Favorite Characters, Mrs. Brisby. But I digress. So he says a bunch of things. One is which we like to be scared, which we can clearly see in the fact that the Powerpuff Girls are watching a zombie movie that scares them. I mean, like, I'm in college, and every now and then some people want to watch a scary movie, and I never get it, but I guess there is some joy in being scared. Like, that thrill sensation you get, and I guess while the girls are afraid of the zombies, they do enjoy the sensation of it. And also the fact that fear, it makes it more interesting to see them go up against something dangerous and they aren't entirely comfortable. This is a bit out of their comfort zone. This feels a little over their head. It's like Doug Walker said it best in Transformers Dark Side of the Moon. Optimus Prime is just plowing through robots like it's all in a day's work. And there's no tension there because he doesn't feel like he's in any real danger. It just feels like a day, all in a day's work. But here with this magician, even the girls are terribly afraid of him. And thus we're a bit more afraid of him because, oh shit, the girls who are normally brave are kind of afraid of this guy. And it did make their situation seem more hopeless. And especially given the fact that there's a moment when the show wants you to think Abracadver's actually beaten the Powerpuff Girls, which they're going to win somehow. Wouldn't that be cool if there was an episode where the Powerpuff Girls actually lost? I'm kind of curious to see if there's an episode where the bad guys actually do win, but who knows? But I digress. So, actually, I think I've heard that there's an episode like that. Don't spoil it if there is, but it will be an interesting concept to explore. I digress. So, I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, it makes the situation seem more threatening when the girls are afraid. Wonder if Abracadver will come back, because he's a cool villain, but at the same time, can you really do that much more of him? Plus, he did kind of die at the end, although he's a magician. He could come back to say it was a magic trick. And lastly, I want to talk about the ending, which I really liked. It had a really nice horror element. It was just like a magic trick, like where something happens and you're like, how the heck did that happen? Like, I was kind of surprised when Blossom just popped out of Abracadabra. I was like, what? Wait, was she him the whole time? Did they swap? I have no clue. And that's cool, because that is basically how magic works. Like, something will happen, and you're just literally like, how did that happen? I mean, if you've ever seen a really, like, a big magician before, I think once or twice I saw, like, a really big magician. And yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing how he does it. And I really like how the show is feeling. And I also really like how the show didn't explain how they did that. Like, that would have destroyed the magic. I mean, part of the fun of magic is that you don't know how it happens. And the illusion's lost when you know how it happens. Like, when I was at camp one year, I took like a magic was one of the activities, and it was fun to learn the magic trick, but same time, kind of takes the fun out of it when you know how the magician's doing it. It's like, I just blanked out again. But yeah, I doubt even the writers know how they explain it. I think they just thought, let's just have it all be a magic trick and just leave it up to the imagination of the audience. Actually, comment below if you think you know how Blossom pulled off her magic trick. Or let me know if the creators have come out and explained it, because I don't know. So lastly, I just want to talk about a couple things. One is thing that kind of bothered me. I wish they had gone a bit farther with the horror element. I mean, they're clearly going for that with the zombies and everything, but I don't feel like they explored as much as they could. I didn't feel the sense of fear and horror that this episode wanted me to. Like, I feel like it could have gone more all out in the horror department. But again, that's why we have him. I feel like the him episodes have the tendency the most dark and creepy. And actually, I'm curious to know if they ever do a Halloween episode and if it gets really scary. Because if I remember, there were some episodes on Cartoon Network that legitimately scared me, or even Nickelodeon, like the Puppet Master of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Ooh, that was a great Halloween one. But I digress. Trying to think. Anything else? Oh yeah, there was this one inconsistency I noticed at the start. When the girls are standing on the podium and the mayor's like talking about the fear to them. Did you notice in one shot they're standing on the podium and in another shot they're standing on the pavement? It's a little inconsistent, I noticed, but I digress. So yeah, overall pretty good episode. I liked it. And again, please leave your thoughts below, especially if you think you figured out how Blossom pulled off that magic trick at the end. I'd be really curious to hear how you think she did it. And yeah, this is JStar360, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Take care.